Hello friends, I'm Brian, and this is Gizmo Board Games. Today I am reviewing a game my version's from Pegasus Spiel. It's got multiple publishers. It's made by Ralph Zerlinde and Wolfgang Sintker. It's Animals on Board right here set in front of me. It was created in 2016, or I should say released in 2016. And it's a family game that plays 1 to 4 people. And it's kind of themed around Noah's Ark, but not. And how you play it is each player has a little ark in front of them where you're going to collect animal tiles in place. And you're going to play basically till somebody has at least 10 animal tiles in their boat, at which time the game will end at the end of the round and you'll tabulate points. However, before you tabulate points, any pairs of animals you have on your boat are going to be taken out. So you don't want to end the game with 2 of a single animal. There are, 12 different animal species in the boat or in the game. They're very cute. They range from values from 1 to 5. And 1s are the little baby animals, and 5s are the full-grown adult animals. Those numbers could matter for scoring at the end of the game, because if you end up with a single animal on your boat at the end of the game, you're going to get the face value of that animal. Like I said, if you end up with pairs on the boat, the pairs go away, so you don't get any score for pairs. And then finally, if you end up with a family, and that's 3 or more of the same kind of animal, every animal in that family is worth 5 points. So the more of the same animal you can collect in your family, the more points you're going to get at the end of the game. So this is a good game for families because it's easy to play, and there's a little bit of math, but it's not too bad. Again, you're adding up the face value of cards or 5 for big groups of family. So how the game is played, and I have it set up for 2 players here, but with 2 players, each player is going to get their own boat. They're going to get a flag that they're going to wave when they're done with the round. And then animal tiles, depending on the number of players, you're going to pull out a set number of different animal species. Again, they're numbered 1 to 5. So in a 2-player game, 4 species are not going to be played with. So you're only playing with 8 species. You're going to shuffle them up, create a pile, and then again in a 2-player game, this will be different for every player count, you're going to lay out 8 face-up animals and 1 face down. Nobody gets to know what the face down animal is until it gets drafted. And the gameplay is very simple. You are either going to divide a group of animals. In the beginning of the game, the first player is going to divide up the main group into 2 separate groups. You're going to split them off however you deem you want to. Boom, split them in half. And then take a food tile. And then it'll be the next player's turn to the left. And they're going to either draft from animals or split the group again. When you draft from animals, you have to have the number of food tiles of the number of animals you're trying to draft. Basically, you're going to bribe them with the food tiles. So if you've only got 1 food tile, you're not going to be able to draft any more than 1 animal. But as the animals get split down into smaller and smaller groupings, you're going to be able to draft 2 or 3 animals pretty easily. So you're just going to keep playing like that until everybody passes in a round. And at which point, when there's 1 person left after everybody else has passed, that person will get 1 more play regardless. And then the round will end. And the next round, you'll just deal out more face up and potentially another face down animal. Pass the first player token and do it all again. You continue doing that until, like I said earlier, 1 player has 10 animals in their boats. Everybody would then end the game at the end of that round. And you'd move on to scoring. So if you've got more than 10 animals on your boat, you're going to want to cut down to just 10. So this is where you might want to strategically move away animals that would leave you with a pair. Once you do that, you're going to pull out the pairs, and then you're going to add up everything you've got left. Again, single animals are worth the face value, so you want single high-valued animals, and families of 3 or more are worth 5 points each. Or not each family, but each member of the family. So the bigger the family, the more the family's worth. On top of that, any leftover food items are going to be worth 1 point. And that's how you play Animals on Board. Now let's get into my final thoughts. Again, I'm going to break this down with the Gizmo scale. So first is G, gameplay. How's the gameplay? Well, it's a family game, so the gameplay is really easy. Like I said, you're just separating groups or taking groups. And the number of groups the size of the animal group you take is based on the number of food tokens you turn in. You turn them in, you get the animals, you put them on your boat. Once you've taken animals, you pass for the round because you can't do anything else in that round, and then the play moves around. So basically there's two things you're doing. You're either splitting the groups or you're taking animals. And when you split the group, you get a food tile to help you take animals later. And then at the end of the game, you're just doing some basic math. You might have to help the little kids with the math, but it's nothing too bad. I think it says 8+, but I really think you could probably with a 5 or 6 year old even if they're okay enough to draft animals and split tiles and understand the basic concepts of that. So the gameplay is really easy, but along with that, it does kind of lend itself to a little bit of not much strategy. There's a little bit of strategy. You do want to divide the animals out how you want to, so I'm not going to say it's completely no strategy, but since it's a family game, it's basic strategy. And so I give the gameplay a go, with the caveat that, it's not for strategic players. The ingredients. So these are pretty nice thick tile pieces that the animals come on. It's good, I guess, average size cardboard. The ships aren't the greatest. They weren't the easiest to put together. They weren't hard either. Just it was a little bit of work to put them together. And the flags, you kind of got to shove them in the hole. So it's all right. It's average ingredients in this game. I do really like all the animal tiles, though. They look great, and the art from each animal is similar art style. But as the animals grow up, you can definitely see a clear progression of baby animal to adult animal, and I do appreciate that. So the artwork gets a thumbs up. The rest of the ingredients are average at best. So now the Z. Is it easy to play? Yes, I mentioned that during the gameplay. It is very easy to play. You're doing one of two things, basically. You're either splitting a group or you're pulling a group and turning in food tiles. And then you're doing some basic math at the end. Nothing overly complex about it at all. Maybe the most complex part is just getting it ready to set up if you've got less than 4 players. If you've got 4 players, you're playing with everything. Less than 4 players, you got to figure out which animals you want to put in, and then shuffling the cards, because they're not cards, they're thick tiles. They're not easy to shuffle, so I guess that would be the hard part of the game, but there's nothing hard about this game. It's very, very welcoming, introductory family-style game. Do I want more of it? And here's where I'm going to give it a little bit of a tag, and it's no fault of the game. The game is enjoyable for what it is. The problem is it is a family game, kind of catered towards young kids, with the cute art and everything. So I will play it from time to time with my family for sure, but is it something I want to pull off the shelf? Not necessarily. It's a little too simplistic, even for a family. I've got other family-style games that give me a little bit more gameplay than this does. But that said, it's very, very much a game you could play with anyone of any age, and I wouldn't have any problem pulling it down off the shelf, for anybody who was over here and wanted to play a simple game with the animal theme. A little bit of the Noah's Ark theme. So more of it, not really. But, it is what it is. It's a family game, and it fills that niche well. Originality. I think for the most part it is original. It's got the Noah's Ark theme, but really it's not Noah. In fact, the game says Noah's stealing the pairs of animals, so it's kind of an anti-Noah game. But, it's a Noah's Ark game. There's a few of these around. The set collecting, that's not that original either. I would say it's average amount of originality, and it's good enough. It fills a different hole in my library with the family game set collection, and I've got plenty of animal games, but this is the only Noah's Ark game that I have so far. So it's slightly original, not overly original, I guess is what I'm getting at. So another slightly better than average for the originality. All right, so finally, what are my final thoughts? I think this game is a good family introductory game. If you like animals and you've got a family you're trying to teach how to strategize a little bit, but not overly strategic, you're just kind of splitting up the animals in a way that helps you and hurts your opponents, hopefully. You got to pay a little bit of attention to what your opponents are collecting, so that way hopefully you're sticking them with a pair of animals. It does have the one hidden animal, which factors in. Sometimes you want to take it, but sometimes that could give you the pair you didn't want. So there's a little strategy involved, nothing complex. It's great for families. It's easy to teach, easy to learn, easy to play. It plays real quick, 15 to 30 minutes. I guess it says 20 to 30 on the box. Yeah, that's right on. This, no matter the player count, really. I played this at 2, 3, and 4, I believe, in various groups, mostly with my kids. But, you know, it worked for everybody. It played well. It's a good filler game, a good introductory game, a good way to teach you some basic math if you're, you know, school-aged child. So from that point of view, it's a good game, not a great game. I gave it 3 out of 5 gizmos and a 6.4 on the Board Game Geek scale. So it gets the job done. Nothing spectacular, but it's a good introductory game for the family. If you like animals, you can find it for cheap. For sure, I'd grab it, and you can teach it to anybody. And that is Animals on Board. I have been Brian with Gizmo Board Games. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment below if you've played this game or other games you like that might be on the similar style, similar weight. Let me know about it. Maybe I haven't checked it out. Maybe I haven't. It'll be a review forthcoming in the future. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Thank you.